It's midnight, and we're driving on the South Island of Taiwan, just off China. We are searching for an area where we heard military exercises will take place.
It's closed.
September 14th, 2021. The 37th annual military exercise will begin at daybreak. Usually a looming presence, the media are limited by the Taiwanese army due to COVID regulations this year. We are confined to this section of the road. Journalists vie for the best spots. Not far from the press, tents set up on the asphalt. Friends drinking and even families with their children are ready to spend a sleepless night here. All of them wait in line, patriotism in their blood.
来见证一下我们历史上第一次战机在我们的平面道路降落，带小朋友特别来参加。
These high school students from Taipei, the capital, wouldn't dream of missing the event.
I just compare to this year and last year.
What are you gonna do with the pictures?
Just upload to the Instagram and let everyone knows Taiwan's defense power.
Why is it important to show defense power?
We want the world to know we are a country, not same to the People's Republic of China.
TVBS, the top private news channel, has the best location in the early morning. We follow Ting Ting Liu, its star reporter.
We are going to go to a better vantage point.
Are you the only one who have this around here?
There's a couple of other media outlets who also rent this kind of platform, so you can see over there.
A few hundred meters away, a fictional scenario is about to play out before our eyes. The airports have just been destroyed by the Chinese army. The Taiwanese must urgently commandeer the highway to take off and land their fighter jets. A strange scene attracts our attention. Soldiers have exchanged their weapons for shovels and brushes. This photographer, who is used to grand displays, has never seen this before.
他们现在把地面的一些障碍物都要排除掉，确保地面是非常干净，可以让战机顺利起降。对。
To avoid accidents, they ensure the highway is as smooth as an airport runway in less than half an hour. The military demonstrations can begin.
好，各位观众，大家早安！今天来到了汉光演习的第3天，而在今天降落的战机就包括了我们的3型主力战机，像我们的 IDF 金国号 F-16V 升级版的战斗机，以及幻象2000战机，当然还有我们 E-2K 的空中预警机。
Taiwan's major television stations are broadcasting the event live. The military is also providing close-up footage. Fighter planes, radar planes, and pilots salute a special guest of honor. The President of Taiwan, Tsai Ing-wen, the first woman elected to head the country. She dressed in her uniform as Chief of the Armed Forces for the occasion. In the south of the country, these demonstrations of force are over, but these grand exercises last 3 days and have been going on since 1984. The army films these real-life exercises. For example, how they would counter a possible Chinese landing. These exercises are designed to flex its muscles to other countries, specifically Taiwan's long-standing neighboring rival, China. Few people know it, but today the entire planet depends on Taiwan, a small, mountainous and heavily forested island. With its 23 million inhabitants, The island, very close to the Chinese coast, is home to the global leader in electronic chips, TSMC, the least known of the world's most influential companies. The automotive industry, computers, smartphones, game consoles, no industry can go without Taiwanese electronic components, making the small island more attractive and richer than ever.
Taiwan has the most Louis Vuitton store per population in the world.
A flourishing economy, one of the most important seaports in Asia, exemplary management of the COVID pandemic, Taiwan is now growing at a rate of 6%, one of the best on the planet. Despite this success, Taiwan is in a unique situation in the world. It's not considered an official country. It has a flag, an anthem, a currency, a president and a government, but no major power officially recognizes it. The reason being its complicated relationship with China. Since 1949, the communist regime established by Mao refused to accept that his great adversary, Chiang Kai-shek, retreated to Taiwan and founded his own state. The People's Republic of China has never recognized Taiwan and still considers it one of its own provinces. Even today, Chinese President Xi Jinping does not rule out getting it back one day, even if it means going to war.
我们不承诺放弃使用武力。
In order not to aggravate China, the vast majority of Taiwanese people have chosen to adopt the round-back tactic, a way to maintain peace and continue to do business. But this policy has a price: no official independence.
大家都知道是，所以说不要去讲这个。不，台湾已经是一个独立的国家，谁都知道。
But in Taiwan, some people, including a majority of young people, are increasingly demonstrating for independence, even if it means China cracking down.
如果真的要打仗的话，我们当然，我相信我个人，或是阿甘，或是我们身边的很多朋友，我们其实都愿意去站上第一线。
Freedom of press, recognition of gay marriage, accessible social networks, the right to protest, a highly participatory democracy with a well-connected transgender minister. In the capital, Taipei, the population almost exclusively opposes China's dictatorship and has no desire to be reunified, except for a very small part of the population for whom Taiwan is still China. Here, the MPs are playing hard rock, and former bad boys are causing a gang war between those for independence and those for reunification. How do the Taiwanese cope with this unique situation? Taiwan, all the makings of a country, yet officially it is not one. An investigation into the last bastion still standing up to the Chinese giant. In Taiwan, the majority of the population has only one objective: for nothing to change. Wayne is one of those Taiwanese people who don't want to provoke China, but who don't want reunification either. Rather conservative, Wayne, 41 years old with 2 children, lives in an upscale area of the capital, and for him, Taiwan is a safe country that must remain so.
You know, we don't have shootings all the time. We don't have, you know, I hate to say it, we don't have jihadists, you know, trying to blow themselves up. You know, we have freedom of speech. We have a very democratic society. Our national health care, I mean, I'll tell you a secret. A lot of my friends who live in America would fly to Taiwan to do their health check. It's an overall good place to live, you know, and I welcome French people to come to Taiwan. Seriously, it's a great country.
If everything is going well in the life of this family man, it's because he is part of the wealthiest 1% of the island, and also because he works in business with China.
Other side. Hey, don't get your stuff on my seat. All right.
This Taiwanese businessman runs 6 English language schools, including one located in China. Today, driving his luxury electric sedan, he has a phone appointment with the Chinese school's principal.
没有，我就问你一下，最近那个最近学生怎么样？
最近学生挺好，最近有几个新的学生来试听，我相信老师基本没时间了，因为。
This Chinese school represents 10% of Wayne's business, so it's easy to see why the businessman doesn't want to offend Beijing. Wayne does business with the Chinese giant, an essential source of profit for Taiwan's economy. Over 40% of their exports go to China.
This is, can't hear you. Let's get dancing. Break free. Okay, go. I'll be going up soon, okay?
This morning, Wayne accompanies his daughter to one of the 6 schools he runs.
It's about 4:30 in the afternoon. They come to our school after their Chinese school to get a U.S. curriculum. If we were to calculate our students' class time throughout the day, plus our program, it would be longer than adults' full-time working schedule. So Taiwanese kids work very hard. Most Taiwanese parents actually aim for U.S.
In Taiwan, only 5% of families can afford to send their children to these English-speaking schools. Wayne heads to his mother's apartment, where he goes every day to check on the business at hand. She's the boss here. 30 years ago, Lisa created the 6 schools. She entrusted the management to her son, but she's in control, and she doesn't mess around with money.
6月份你就要发出去学费。
因为我们在讲说下学期的2月到6月的。
哦，2月到6月。
对。
Today, Lisa had 2 bankers come to the house. With $4 million in sales a year, she wants to know the best stock market investments.
第2个儿子说他买 Apple 买了2年，他的利润是40%，他说是很慢的。
对，那现在因为还有一些尾数。
对，我是觉得这样。那 Apple 是很好，所以我还想要再买一期。对。
所以刚好最近又反弹上，速度很快，对。就很快，就像。
For Lisa and her son, business is booming and politics need not disrupt anything.
但是呢，现在如果人民已经习惯这样子的生活方式呢，也很好嘛，大家安居乐业。那你想要买什么，你想吃什么，台湾人民都 OK， 都可以满足他自己。可是如果我们去变成台独或是统独这2个问题存在的话，可能有一些人会反对，有一些人不会反对，那就引起台湾人民的人民互相的矛盾，产生了彼此的仇恨。
Another smoothly run meeting by this businesswoman who has always known how to run things.
Okay, 好，拜拜。
In Taiwan, no one wants to lose their lifestyle and freedom, but they still want to do business with China. In short, the Taiwanese want all the advantages of the economic power of the communist regime without the disadvantages of its dictatorship.
That's why I am pro-status quo, because when it comes to it, I do not want to risk my business. I do not want to risk my family. And, some people ask me, oh, Taiwan is not recognized. So what? I don't care, because the Taiwanese passport that I use, we could travel everywhere. Let's be honest. You compare the Taiwanese passport versus the People's Republic of China passport. The Taiwanese passport can go more places than the China passport.
This fragile situation, where the Taiwanese have to bend over backwards not to irk their neighboring rival, how much longer can it go on? Especially since some people here can't stand it any longer. This is the case for Roy, a young 25-year-old pro-independent supporter who would like things to change in Taiwan.
我感觉我眼前看到这些人住在永和的人，我觉得他们都不喜欢我，不喜欢一个搞台独的，不喜欢一个会泼漆的，不喜欢一个整天爱抗议的人哦。
Roy does indeed live in a conservative residential area in the suburbs of Taipei, which is very hostile to his ideas. He heads to his apartment where his girlfriend is waiting for him.
哎，宝贝，回来了。我们家的整个样子。这边是我们的麻将桌，然后这边是我们的厨房。我们厨房很小啦，就是一般来说，我们的厨房算很小的，就一个炉台、抽烟机，就很简单，一个小小的厨房。到这边这边有我们的一些收藏的东西，一些公仔啊，一些就是日本文化的一些公仔，一些小东西。然后比较特别的是这边，这边是我们的储藏柜但储藏柜露出来不好看。
The couple lives in this 3-room apartment that belongs to Roy's grandmother. He met Wang Wei 4 years ago at a political meeting. Wang Wei is Taiwanese by father and Chinese by mother. Sometimes it bothers her.
就是我其实对于别人，因为我有时候会有口音，所以就当有人问我说你是不是中国人的时候，我会很敏感，然后我会觉得很生气，因为我自己的认同是我是台湾人。
Wang Wei's mother is worried about her daughter being with a Taiwanese man.
反正他有一次问我说你如果总统大选的话，你会投给谁？然后我说应该会是蔡英文吧。然后他就问我为什么，我说因为其实我本身的立场是我觉得就是蔡英文对台湾比较好，看起来很笨。然后他就说哦你这个叛徒，你怎么可以投给蔡英文？对，就是我妈其实。
Roy and Wang Wei agree on one thing: Taiwan must become independent.
纵使我们有类似的文化，或者是讲的类似的语言，但是呢，我们的生活方式就是不一样。我们是民主的、自由的国家，他们是威权独裁的国家，所以我们觉得我们必须要去独立自主，我们才有办法去反抗中国的侵略。所以我支持台湾独立。中国都会生气，纵使我们维持现状，中国也还是会生气。一定要你主动的向中国示好，但是呢，我们如果选择向中国妥协，或者是慢慢的向中国妥协，我们到最后面我们还是一样是输，就像香港一样被中共的暴政所凌虐。
To get this independence, Roy is even willing to face China if he has to.
我觉得其实逃走反而是最困难的事情。我觉得对于大部分的台湾人来讲，其实最直觉、最简单的方式，应该是拿起枪来捍卫自己的家园，因为我们要在我们熟悉的地方去捍卫我们熟悉的生活方式。这个对台湾人来讲才是最直觉、最简单的方式去对抗中国，不会跑走。
But does Roy understand the Chinese threat to Taiwan? This is what the Chinese arsenal looks like. Propaganda images that aim to impress, even terrify the Taiwanese. Nevertheless, the Chinese army is much more powerful than that of the small island. $252 billion military budget on one side, $12 billion on the other. 2,200,000 soldiers here, 160,000 there. 348 ships for China, 86 for Taiwan. 2,050 planes for Beijing, 400 for Taipei. Disproportionate military forces, but also a war of nerves orchestrated by Beijing. Every day, Chinese warplanes like this nuclear-capable H-6 are sent into Taiwanese airspace. In 2021, there were over 600 incursions into the sky. Not enough to weaken the determination of the Taiwanese government. At the highest level of the state, they say they are ready to fight in case of war with China. Foreign Minister Joseph Wu is adamant.
We have been preparing is that we have the ability to defend ourselves, even if it's going to happen tomorrow. So we are trying to make ourselves ready for a possible conflict with China. And I want to say again, we have the determination to defend ourselves. This is our territory, this is our sovereignty, and this is our way of life, and we want to protect it.
The minister sounds confident, but others think Taiwan is not ready. On this retired officer's shoulders, 41 military medals, the crowning achievement of 38 years of loyal service in the Taiwanese Air Force. That day, the Lieutenant General came to alert journalists about the obsolescence of the Mirage 2000s that Taiwan bought from France 30 years ago. For him, one thing is certain: they are no longer a match for the Chinese fighter planes. But apart from a few television stations, his grand declarations have not mobilized the Taiwanese.
因为幻象战机是第4代战机，相当那中共现在已经出来的是歼20，是第5代的隐形战机。那这个我们有必要再做提升，是这个意思吗？好不好？还没有。
Taiwan's military must better prepare for a Chinese offensive, especially since on the civilian side, more and more young people are challenging Beijing's ascendancy, thus taking the risk of triggering their enemy brother's temper. March 18th, 2014, the Taiwanese called it the Sunflower Movement. On that day, tens of thousands of students invaded Parliament. Their goal? To put an end to the free trade agreement between China and Taiwan that would have resulted in Beijing controlling the island's economy. At that time, the Kuomintang, a pro-Chinese party, ruled the country and wanted to pass this agreement without consulting the population. 23 days of protest ensued. The young people mobilized for the first time with strength and determination.
因为我们知道，离开国会之后，我们所面对到的期待、责任和压力，绝对不会小于持续坚守在国会议场里面。
As a result of the Sunflower Movement, President Tsai Ing-wen of the Democratic Progressive Party was elected in 2016. The old guard of the Kuomintang was defeated after dominating the political scene that had existed since 1949. At the executive headquarters, we have an appointment with a participant of the Sunflower Movement, appointed for the second time as Minister of Digital Affairs by the President of Taiwan. Audrey Tang, 40, goes by the nickname the Digital Woman. She is the only transgender minister in the world, and this former hacker claims radical transparency.
Is this an interview? If it's an interview, I need to turn on my camera.
Nothing the Minister of Digital Affairs says to the press eludes Taiwanese citizens. Our interview will be broadcast in full on her YouTube channel. This champion of communication also posts all her government messages there.
Yeah, basically I just speak my mind, so that's no extra training required, I guess. But of course, a lot of the actual work is, of course, also a group effort. I think my main contribution as an individual is to insist that the materials forming the message and also the medium is delivered as Creative Commons.
Today, the minister must encourage citizens to buy online vouchers offered by the state. The goal? To revive the country's consumption after the COVID crisis. In contrast to serious Chinese communications, in the TV studio of the Taiwanese ministry, Audrey Tang shows her personality, and here it is. Fun mini musicals made in teams in just a few hours. Young people love it. It's colorful, fun, and popular. Nothing better for an institutional message.
他确实有很多创新的想法，没有错。然后也是走在一个尖端，然后去开创新的领域的人。
As a result, the digital minister has set up another unique tool in the world, the platform GovZero, a platform of citizen deliberation where Taiwanese participate online in the development of laws. Each citizen can intervene whenever they want to change something. Ultra-participatory democracy is the bright side of Audrey Tang's work. But less funny, she also has to face Chinese pressure. Every day, Taiwan suffers 500,000 cyber attacks, choreographed by Beijing. In May 2020, hackers paralyzed the payment system of a national oil company for several days. The Taiwanese couldn't get gasoline. It was chaos. To protect Taiwan from similar attacks, the Minister of Digital Technology has set up a team of white hat hackers.
Make sure that we also understand so-called red team thinking, how the penetration testers think about the system so we can defend ourselves better and also proactively hunt any threats.
The CEO of Team 5, a company specialized in cyber intelligence, knows these Chinese hackers well. They even identified them during the attack on oil companies. They are the APT-41 group. Chinese hackers known worldwide and wanted by the FBI.
They have very high skill. They are really good at cyber attack. And according to our research, we know them did compromise lots of very large enterprises and very important critical infrastructures and some like technology companies. Yep.
APT-41 are mercenaries, sometimes working for mafias and sometimes for states like China.
The day of the attack is very close to Taiwan presidential inauguration ceremony. So many people guess it might be related. They want to cause some impact because not only this company, it happened to two major oil product providers in Taiwan.
Amongst Taiwan's fears are that the country's electricity and water infrastructure would also be hacked, bringing the entire country to a complete standstill. Some of these hackers are operating from the 311 base in the city of Fuzhou in China. Base 311 is the headquarters of the Chinese Army's cyber attacks. Nearby is an archipelago of Taiwanese islands, including the Kinmen Islands, from which China is close by and visible, only 30 minutes away by boat. Chinese attacks are feared here more than anywhere else in Taiwan. As evidence of this, these anti-disembarkation stakes, vestiges of the fight which took place between Mao's communists and Chiang Kai-shek's nationalists in 1949. Robin has been a guide here for 2 years. He is Taiwanese.
So when they got here about 3 days, 3 nights, attacking with just Kinmen, which is called ROC troops. So they sent 900 boats at same time, the nighttime, 2 o'clock, attacking to Kinmen for 3 days.
A battle that ended in victory for Taiwan, at the time militarily stronger than China. Robin wants to show us the tanks that participated in this battle. Today, an open-air museum. Usually it's packed with people, but since COVID, not a single tourist has visited. A curious monument is also worth a visit in Kinmen. That afternoon, technicians in a gondola came to repair this high concrete wall, with the mission to repair some of the 48 loudspeakers that play a song by Teresa Teng. Teresa Teng, a kind of Chinese Edith Piaf, very popular in the country's history. During the Cold War, her songs were used as a propaganda tool to try to convince communists to come and join them. And according to Robin, this sweet melody was heard all the way to the other side and could have attracted Chinese to make their journey to Taiwan.
Some soldiers really coming to get here, want to pursue the coming to catch that from the democracy. Some soldiers do that way, they swim to here and to be a surrender, want to join us.
Back to Taipei, where we see another threat to Taiwan at the time, precisely from the main opposition party, the Kuomintang, the oldest Taiwanese party. This conservative and above all pro-Chinese party is constantly putting obstacles in the way of the new ruling power. Freddie Lim is a young deputy close to the government, elected after the arrival of Tsai Ing-wen, the president.
So where are we here, Freddie? We are at Sansui Sichang, which is a market that built in Japanese colonial period, almost 100 years.
This little market is located in a historic district of Taipei, the congressman's stronghold, a constituency that he won from the Kuomintang for the second time in the last legislative elections. The deputy came to support small merchants whose businesses have suffered due to COVID. Online shopping here doesn't exist, and Freddie would like to see them get started.
The traditional shops, they got used to the traditional way, physical way, but during the epidemic, they've been cracked down mostly, so how they can thrive back, that's very important.
Freddie Lim, a father, takes advantage of being at the market to do his shopping.
Normally, me and my wife, we shop here. 谢谢，多谢。哦，过来去，多谢你哦。This is one of the most famous dumpling shop in this area.
If Freddie Lim seems in his element when he's among his constituents, it's because he's appreciated for his politics. But not only that, the MP has a particular skill.
Freddie, very famous.
Hi, why famous? Why?
Sing a song.
It's more famous as a singer or as a politician?
都一样，都 OK.
Both.
Leader of the most famous rock band in Taiwan. The politician is barely recognizable under the makeup. Tonight, he sings in front of 20,000 people. He also takes the opportunity to deliver a message to the crowd, a pro-independence message that strongly displeases the Kuomintang, the Conservative Party.
我们这个珍贵的这个国家虽然很小，但是就像大改开唱，所有的歌手、乐团、创作者不会被任何一个独裁政府要求你写什么歌、表什么态，支持他的那一些可恶的所作所为。台湾人民也跟所有现场大港开唱的观众一样，我们可以在这边举支持台湾、支持西藏、支持婚姻平权、支持反核。最重要，我想今天还有好几面支持维吾尔人的这一面蓝天。
Since Freddie Lim's election as a Member of Parliament, the Kuomintang is doing everything it can to take its constituency back. The Conservative Party is even trying to remove him from office by accusing him of mismanaging the COVID crisis, but without success. The MP takes us to the Parliament to tell us how the Kuomintang went as far as physically assaulting him in the middle of a voting session. This is the Taiwanese National Assembly and its 113 seats.
在前面那几排主要是内阁就 cabinet 的成员会在那边，然后在下面的这几排的话，主要就是 parliament members 在这里。那我自己的位置是在后面，在你非常难拍到的地方。原因很简单，就是因为我不喜欢被拍到，所以我就选的那个位置。
Except, of course, when he's on stage. On the other hand, it was right here in the Parliament building itself that Freddie Lim was pushed around by his opponents. To prevent him from voting, his political opponents here in blue went as far as jumping on him, grabbing and restraining him. Shocking images. In Taiwan, however, this kind of scene between real fight and overplayed spectacle is commonplace. It's a way for MPs to show that they're taking action. But young MPs, like Freddie Lim, don't like it at all.
他们那一次等于是我已经要投下我的票，他们还要把我的票拿出来，所以我觉得那已经是一个超越了合理的抗争啦，因为我们有各种议事杯葛的手段，但是如果我在行使我的投票，你还要从我的口袋里面把票拿出来，我觉得这已经超越了。
Especially since they also inspired fighting and security didn't even intervene. Disturbing for what's supposed to be a democracy.
I think they can't sell their idea about being closing with China. So how they can position themselves? They found it just so difficult. So it might be easier for them to go extreme and to get attention from the people. But that's for us. I don't think it makes sense. But they just do that.
In Taiwan, the Kuomintang is not the only political party that threatens democracy. There is also the CUP, an extremist pro-Chinese party. Its activists are very few, but they know how to make themselves heard. On their vests, embroidered in yellow, their message is very clear: for the reunification with China. That day, Mr. Chang and his comrades came to demonstrate for the 122nd time in front of the Disease Management Center. Their demand is always the same. They demand that the Taiwanese government buy Chinese vaccines, which are the least effective on the world market.
因为大陆已经很明确的，他们愿意提供大陆安全可靠的国药疫苗给台湾，甚至他们愿意赠送台湾足够的疫苗，不论厂牌，不论数量。在大陆这样的善意，然后考量台湾人民的生命安全的前提之下。
Despite their disciplined approach, these kinds of demonstrations would be suppressed in China as protests are banned. A paradox that these activists ignore, concentrated on their rehearsed message.
请给我们疫苗，请接受人民的请求，请接受大陆的善意，人命关天，疫苗优先。人命关天，疫苗优先。
我们要为我们台湾的人民申请疫苗啊！我们现在台湾还有大部分人没有打到疫苗啊，就像我儿子啊，现在都20多岁了。
家庭的破碎，我们晚上睡。
After an hour of protesting, the police intervene.
举行集会已经违反集会游行法。中正第1分局现在依集会游行法第25条规定，第一次举牌警告，请你们停止违法的集会。
The activists of the CUP comply and leave the scene of the demonstration in a calm and orderly fashion. We take the opportunity to follow Mr. Chang to his headquarters, a few kilometers from Taipei. As we enter his office, we discover how the CUP is the armed forces of China on Taiwanese territory, which could be dangerous for its democracy. Our first surprise was upon entering the CUP office and gazing upon this statue of the former Chinese communist leader, Deng Xiaoping. Deng Xiaoping was close to Mao in the 1950s and was responsible for the Tiananmen crackdown 40 years later. But what Mr. Chang is most proud of, and what he absolutely wants to show us, is this flag.
这是中华人民共和国，也是我的祖国的国旗，5星旗。
In the next room, CUP propaganda films are being made. The morning's demonstration will soon be online. Provocative footage that this man in the blue tracksuit supervises. He seems to have a certain power. The man quickly intrigues us as he seems to follow the second in command of the party everywhere he goes.
Uh, 这是张安乐总裁的，也是本党总裁的办公室。然后这位是他的儿子张伟。
We suspected that this man was important. In his absence, his father, the CUP president, delegated all his power to him, but the shadow of his father, who is currently in China on business, is constantly looming.
这是一个木雕的艺术品，那是我父亲的一个友人，在他回来台湾以后送给他的，给他当纪念品。对，那他的形象是一匹2天朝向的狼，因为我父亲的绰号就叫白狼。
White Wolf. It sounds like something out of an adventure novel, but this nickname dates back to the time when his father ran a very dangerous Taiwanese mafia gang, the Bamboo Gang. His father also spent 10 years in prison in the United States for drug trafficking and for complications with the Taiwanese justice for accepting Chinese money to create the coup, which is his political party, and moreover the Trojan horse of Beijing. He tries to convince us that he is different, as he was raised in Argentina by his mother. Hence the rest of the interview is conducted in Spanish.
La primera vez que yo encontré con mi padre, yo ya tengo 20 años. Él está en la cárcel de los Estados Unidos. Yo conozco a mi padre, la mayoría es por media, por newspaper. Yo sé que él es mi padre y pasó algo, pero nunca lo vi. Yo no participé al gangster porque mi padre me prohibía.
Today his father lives between China and Taiwan, and his son may not be in a gang, but in Taiwan 3 years ago, he beat up pro-independence protesters and was sentenced to 40 days in jail. Could he have inherited his father's brutal methods from the time he ran the Bamboo Gang, the Taiwanese mafia? We meet a former member of this Bamboo Gang who, after managing to leave it, has completely turned around and become a loyal pro-independence man. The man now feels much more free and less surveyed. Today, he is the head of 6 gyms. Holger Chen, 43 years old, still has a bad boy look, but also has left the Bamboo Gang. He is now a businessman and an internet star with over 1 million subscribers.
我1个礼拜训练是4天，然后我4天里面会训练到这个卧推的动作是3到4次，也就是几乎每次都有练。对，然后我一般来说都会练到160、170、180左右。这个是善，就是好的佛的神的，这个是恶魔，这是比较不好的。但是我们在这个世界上不能只有好的那一面，要有2面。 不然遇到不好的人，你就是要不好的去跟他对嘛，对不对？那我个人很喜欢骷髅头的东西。
However, in 2020, Holger Chen didn't use his bad side and instead paid dearly for his newfound determination for a free and independent Taiwan. He even made the headlines.
最新画面带您来看到，稍早为您报道过，馆长陈之汉在今日凌晨经传被人开枪，他的手臂跟腿部一共中了3枪。
In the middle of the night, as he left the gym, Holger Chen was walking back to his car with 2 of his employees. On the right, a gunman bursts in and shoots him at point blank before fleeing.
我的脚没有不痛过，最主要是我很糟糕我的脚，因为那时候我全身上下有7个弹孔，然后蛮严重的，那时候是蛮严重，差点挂了吧。对，所以目前为止脚伤是都在，我很害怕啦，就是永远都痛，因为它外表看起来是没事，但是我们在训练，我们在走路，它都是极度不舒服的啦。 那我们就是习惯就好了，至少捡回一条命嘛。对。
One doesn't have to look far to find the reason for this attack in the context of mass demonstrations organized by Holger Chen himself in 2019, targeting powerful pro-Chinese media. Since he left the Bamboo Gang, he has become very pro-Taiwan.
都可以握起手来，一起把红色媒体赶出台湾，对抗中共。
This demonstration was aimed at one man in particular, Tsai En-meng, the boss of the China Times media group. Holger Chen accuses him of working for Beijing and wanting to destabilize Taiwan by broadcasting propaganda across media platforms that he owns, including the CTI channel.
的确是台湾的敌人才会让这样的人明知道他是来自于敌国，明知道他的金钱来自于敌国。
As a result of the 2019 protest, the media mogul was summoned by the equivalent of the Taiwanese CSA audiovisual authorities, and his news channel CTI was shut down.
CTI News will stop broadcasting after nearly 3 decades. Authorities have accused the owner, Tycoon Tsai Ing-ming, of interfering with the broadcaster's editorial independence.
因为其实台湾人，尤其是老人家，被他们电视台洗脑，观念很严重，都认为说中国不是敌人，中国是朋友，中国是同胞，然后中国很棒，经济很好，封锁消息嘛，你什么都不知道，只有好的一面出来，所以。 这种电视台在台湾是不能留的。
An investigation led to the arrest of 2 of Holger Chen's attackers. They were sentenced to 16 and 18 years in prison. But the businessman turned pro-independent supporter is still threatened and lives surrounded by bodyguards. Holger Chen is not the only one threatened by pro-Chinese extremists. There are also political exiles, those who have fled recently under Chinese rule from Hong Kong. Lam Wing-ki is one of these Hong Kong refugees in Taiwan, someone that China hates. Lam Wing-ki is a bookseller, and above all he sells books that criticize Beijing. This earned him 8 months in prison in China. Today the Chinese police are searching for him once again, as he refuses to denounce his customers.
每天寄5公斤，送了大概1年多吧，差不多2年，所以那个量是很大，这个是真的。我为什么要帮他们寄书给他？其实当然是一个是我要赚点钱，要我去书店，这个是真的。让中国大陆的人要改变自己中国，这个才是对的，不是靠外面的人是没办法改变中国的。 所以，其实整个中国大陆的问题是，其实一个教育的问题。
A refugee in Taiwan, which has no extradition agreement with China, Lam Wing-ki opened his new bookstore in 2020 with the blessing of Tsai Ing-wen. The president of Taiwan even stuck up a note saying, "Free Taiwan supports the freedom of Hong Kong," a simple piece of paper that's still there today. A provocation for China, where the word freedom, calligraphed and framed here, does not appear in any Chinese bookshop. A provocation that didn't take long to become punishable. Blood-red stains on the wall of this cafe, all over the floor, and on this table. April the 21st, 2020, Lam Wing-ki has red paint all over his body. His attacker, recorded on this security camera, had only one objective: to intimidate this anti-Chinese activist who remains dedicated to his cause.
那当然是在台湾这块红沙这些行为，我不用担心了，因为台湾是一个民主的国家，它对每一个人都有一个人身保护。那后来事情违法的人、伤害人的人，现在也要坐牢啊，通过法庭的判决。
Until Lam Wing-ki arrived, Taiwan did not accept any refugees on its soil so as not to offend China. But in 2020, 11,000 Hong Kongers were welcomed. They wanted to escape Beijing's takeover of Hong Kong and the accompanying brutal crackdown. Chinese President Xi Jinping has not respected the principle of one country, two systems in Hong Kong, and this is what frightens the bookseller and all the inhabitants of Taiwan, that the same scenario could happen to this island.
Do you believe in one country, two systems, and will Taiwan be the next Hong Kong?
一个两制大家也知道了，已经是一个神话。 你明白我叫什么叫神话吗？
不存在。
对呀、想象出来的东西。大家也知道，他对香港这2年发生的事情，没人相信了，应该是。他只是一个想骗台湾人，也想骗全世界的人，也骗他自己。
Taiwan is the final territory that China wants to take back as they believe it belongs to them. Today, the Taiwanese are at a turning point in their history. Will the de facto independence of their country become official, or on the contrary, will Beijing do everything in their power to annex the small island? This time, will democracy win?